First things first, there is only love. First things first, always to remember, there is only love. God is love. Come back, quiet my mind. Go into that place where I really feel it and know that it's true. We can say it all we want, but we got to go there. We have to start there. We have to start every day, in every encounter, in every relationship, in every endeavor, with that in our minds, but more in our hearts. That's the most important thing, to get it deep in our hearts. There really is only love. And everything else that I've encountered in life has just been a lesson to push me back to that place. There's only love. To push me back there. To show me, listen, it's got to come from you. It's not that there's things happening to you. Things are happening through you. And it's incredible because we're being pushed even more strongly these days to be that love that we know that we are. We can't really expect others to do it unless we're doing it first. So first things first. That's a slogan that was made popular by Alcoholics Anonymous and all 12-step groups across the world. And what it means is your first job is to be sober. Your first job is sobriety, is to take care of yourself. That's the first thing. Then you can begin to look more deeply at yourself. Then you can begin to go through that process of purification of yourself through forgiveness, in which all the 12 steps is a purification of my ideas and my experience of myself, the thoughts and behaviors that led to my unmanageable life. And I have to say, the more I look at the news, the more I look at what's going on in the world, we've become unmanageable. We need help. We need spiritual help, don't we? And so I need to first remember that I need spiritual help. Then I'll be able to give it to others. I really do want to change the world. I want to make a difference in this world, personally. But I need to make a difference in your lives first. We need to make a difference, create community, and celebrate the love that we are, and have our lives transformed before I can possibly go out, or we can go out as a group and help others. And so we're doing all we can to take that first step and undergo our own transformation. And together, we can go out into the community, and we can support one another. The same approach that you see in the 12 steps can be applied to any spiritual endeavor. Turn away from your addictive thinking and behavior that's limiting you, right? That which no longer serves you. Turn away from that and turn towards the unlimited, unfailing power of God within. Turn towards that. That's the first step. Turn away from that which isn't serving me. It's pretty simple. But why is it not? It's simple, but why is it not easy for most of us? Because we're addicted to it. You look at someone who's addicted to drinking or cigarettes or anything, food, for instance, anything, and you say, all you have to do is stop doing that and do this. And you go, well, I can't. I just can't. I have to have the drink. I can't do it. And you realize, wow, it really is, addiction is a disease. It's a disease of the mind, and it becomes a disease of the body. But before that, what is it? It's a disease of the soul. We're looking to fill that hole that only God can fill, that only Spirit and truth and love can fill. And we're trying to fill it with something else. And so that something else, we become addicted to it. It could be could be our ego, could be our personality, could be power, could be money, could be anything. But we've become addicted to that, and that has become our God. And of course, we have to say bye-bye. That's the first step. Bye-bye to that, whatever that is. And hello, God. Here I am. Help. I need help. And here comes the help. That spiritual principles and spiritual laws are here for you to use. So it's not enough to say, oh, you can do it, it's easy. You have to say, this is what we can do instead. We can practice this instead. We can practice spiritual principles. It's not easy at first because we're not used to it. We started a prayer circle, only 2 people showed up, me and Jess. And this week there was 13 of us. And now everyone's kind of getting the hang of affirmative prayer. Affirmative praying in the positive prayer modality. And affirming what is true with ourselves. And we're not shying away from the things that we're going through. We're not shying away from our feelings. We're not shying away from what we believe or what our situation or circumstance is. But we are saying that I affirm the truth of God's abundance in every situation, in every circumstance. It doesn't matter. So that's the first principle, is that God is in the midst of it. God is in the midst of everything. So I believe in spiritual endeavor. First things first. That's the first principle. God is absolute good everywhere present. And it's the only power. There's one power and one presence active in the universe and in my life. And I'm going to quit giving power to other things. There are 3 phases or faces of God. There are 3 aspects. The immanent, right? That which is within. The immanent. But that's not the only one. The manifest. That's God everywhere. And the transcendent. That's God beyond what I can imagine is inside or outside. And so, if I can somehow surrender to the idea of the first principle of unity, that God is everywhere, that this source, you don't have to call it God, it's a source of all life. This essence of being is everywhere. There's nowhere where it isn't. I'm not going to be defining my beliefs and my experience based on rejection of yours. That's what unity is all about, is inclusion. And I'm not rejecting your beliefs, but I am dedicated to expanding my own. And so that's my purpose. And we have a lot of people going, what am I going to be when I grow up? What am I going to do? We got a brand new occupation. To live in celebration, to know your purpose is pretty simple. My purpose is to awaken humanity, all of humanity, by undergoing my own awakening. To raise the consciousness of humanity by raising my own consciousness. It's not going to happen by trying to do it out there, telling you how to do it. And we have many. How many workshops have you gone to? How many seminars? How many retreats have you gone to? How much money have you spent? How many books have you read? I really am inviting everyone to do this for yourself, to manifest for yourself what you really, really want, to have the life you really, really want, not the one that you're just sort of want, not settling for anything less than your heart's true desires, your deepest desire. I want you to manifest that. And we can do it because we have these principles that we can put into practice. So, let me read you, first of all, first things first, what is a principle? Spiritual principles. It's important to know that they all work the same way. A principle is a rule. It's a law. It never changes. It applies to everyone. All people, everywhere, all the time. We learned as children that 2 + 2 = 4. Everywhere, for everyone, all the time. If we come up, it's a mathematical principle. If you get an answer other than 4, it's your mistake. It's not the principal's mistake. When I got an answer other than 4, they sent me to the principal. But that's beside the point. Your answer never depends on your good or bad behavior. The principal isn't even aware of you. It just is. 2 + 2 is always 4 for you and for everyone else, everywhere, all the time. And the same is true for spiritual principles. Spiritual principles work the same way. They are laws of the universe that govern all people, everywhere, all the time. And we can learn to use them to our great advantage, like mathematical principles, or we can ignore them and continually get answers that don't work for us. Amazing. So why don't we discover what these principles are and start working with them? That sounds like a really good idea to me, because it's going to give me answers that I really want, and not answers that continually don't work for me. I tried blaming others for what was going on in my life, and it just didn't work because I had more things that I wanted to blame them for. What I am aware of is why last week we talked about lifting up others as a way to rise ourselves, is that I need to be lifted up. I need to be in this consciousness and to be practicing this principle in order to demonstrate it and teach it to others. And as a community, we need to be practicing and demonstrating these principles in order to take them out into the world. To continually walk around and tell what's wrong with the world to everybody and continually blame it on others is not very empowering. So it's kind of I'm being selfish here. I want to be empowered. I want to have a good life. I want to be happy. I want to be free. And so I'm not going to blame others for how I'm feeling. And when I do, I'm going to admit that I'm wrong. See, that's one of the, I think it's the 10th step in the 12 steps. So you've gotten through all these steps. You think you're doing really good, and here comes the slip up. And you slip up once again. Yeah. And when you go, okay, it's okay. Just continue to take personal inventory, and when you're wrong, promptly admit it. And the faster I can admit that I'm just not working the principle, the faster I can get on it again. The faster I can forgive myself, I can get back on track. See, taking personal inventory is a really cool thing. We don't want to do it because we feel really guilty. We don't want to do it because everyone's going to find out what's wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with you. You're perfect as God created you. And you have had a mistaken idea about who you are. And a mistaken idea about to heal that sense of separation that you felt from not knowing who you are. So the answer is going to be, let's find out who we are. And we'll find out who we are by manifesting within the principles and the laws of the universe the truth, the life that we really, really, really want. And we're not going to settle for less. And we're not going to settle for saying, well, the world will take care of itself. It won't. It's not like that, right, Paul? We're going to show up as the light of the world, and it's going to make a difference. And even if we can't see it, we will feel it within ourselves because we truly are fulfilling our function. So the first principle is the first thing I learned in unity, that there's one power, one presence active in the universe and in my life. And it just gives me a lot of comfort. It takes all the power away from all the things that I was giving power to, because I've given it back. There's one power. There's one presence. There's an evolution of consciousness. We're all going home together to this place of love. And home is right here together. You know, in the Course in Miracles, it says something really cool. It says, heaven is not a place. It's not even a condition. It's simply an awareness of perfect oneness. Heaven is here now. Heaven is here now and will be here now in your consciousness when you are in that place of awareness of our perfect oneness. It's not a place you're going. It's a place you never left. Heaven is here now. And that's the first step for me, is always getting back to that place. Each and every day, God is my sustenance, my substance. I am sustained by the love of God. I'm not sustained by money. I'm not sustained by relationships. I'm not sustained by substances. I'm not sustained by my ego personality and accomplishing things in the world. No, The love of God sustains me. I am sustained by the love of God. And it will be manifest in amazing and beautiful ways. What's happening now for me is I'm having trouble taking it all in. It's so immense. It's so huge. The possibilities are so huge. And everything that we envisioned has become manifest in this place. All the little things, like we got a cupola on the roof, and they're going to be putting the solar panels on this week. Now this is actually not a little thing. We got a new heating and cooling system for all 3 zones of this building. And now it's working. You feel good? I can feel it. I feel the air coming out of here. Feels good. It's nice. And we've made a commitment that, a lot of things. The music has been amazing. And one of the visions I had on my vision, on the front page of my experiment, was guitars and music and people singing and people being healed and people regaining a sense of power and prosperity in their lives. And many of you have done that. And now I really want to deepen that experience. I want to take the next step. First things first. I think we've been doing that. We've been resurrecting unity on Cape Cod. And I think we're doing a good job at it. We've got a great board of trustees. We've got great volunteers. Wasn't it a great party we had last week? We have 14 teams, and only 2 of them are paid, so that's 12 volunteer teams. But there's a lot that goes into keeping this place going, and we need all of you. We need every single person. It doesn't work without you. So I want to do this experiment. I'm going to kick it off next week with a workshop, Mastering the Laws of Abundance. Because now that we know what they are, we can begin to master them. So I really want to get into that again. So the last thing that I really want to tell you is that this is not new information. This has been around forever and ever. And it's the laws of the universe. Humankind has always sought to figure out their place in the universe and how to flow in an abundant manner. A lot of us have often thought, well, I'm going to take it from the other guy, and that's how I'll be abundant. And what happens? When the other guy is hurting, so are you. And it never feels quite right. So we've turned to what? This thing we call source or God. And that's the most important thing for me, is that it's a source, like was said in the book, that is available to everyone at all times. It's available to you no matter who you are, where you are, what you think your situation is. The whole universe is yours to do with what you like. And I remember in Hebrews, there's a Hebrews 8:10, there's a great passage about creating a new covenant. Now that we've experienced that this power is in man, not only through Jesus, but through a lot of people at that time, there began a new covenant. And the new covenant was that now you can take these laws and you can manifest the truth of God's abundance in your life and for everyone in the whole world. So it says, I will put my laws in their minds and write them on their heart. That's where they are. They're not laws in a book. They're not laws that are just words. This is universal law that we're talking about. These are principles that we're talking about. And I want to get deeply into these principles in the next 3 or 4 weeks. And I would invite everyone to do the prosperity experiment with me this year. I realized I was just getting so much prosperity and abundance that I needed to do this again so that I can remember what it's all for, that I can go back to the first step to say, why am I manifest? Lily and I wanted a home. We manifested a home. We wanted enough money to take care of ourselves and our home without worrying about it every week, and that's happened, and it's happening. And this place has grown, and it's grown in a way that we need to be able to expand now our dedication to the spiritual principles. Because what I find that happens is we get happy. Oh, look what I manifest. Oh, I manifest this lovely little book, right? And then that's it. I manifest this book. It works. Wow. And then you're holding on to it so tight. Wow, look what I manifested. You can't have it. Let me read it. No, it's mine. I manifested it. It's not like that. What good is it if I can't share it with you? And ideas are such. This is the cool part. This is the last thing I'm going to say. Ideas. Uh-oh, you got me now. I will never be employed in another state in the rest of my life. I'm going to have to stay here.
That's okay.
Okay, okay? Ideas are such that when you share them, they multiply. I still have it, and now you have it too. I have an idea. You're perfect as God created you. Did that take away from my experience that I'm perfect as God created me? No, it actually multiplied it. You have all the universe at your fingertips. You have everything you want and need and could possibly imagine available to you to manifest in your life. Did that take anything away from me? No. It reminded me that it's true. And it reminded me that this principle is something we share. And it's like a secret. You can use it as a Jedi mind trick. When somebody's trying to get you, and they're judging you, and they're saying things, and you go, that's nice. You just agree with them. Well, I'm sorry you felt that way. Okay, let's just try something new. I'm sorry for that. And it's like, rather than defending and giving it all a lot of power and a lot of reality, fine, what do we do now? It's a Jedi mind trick. I am prosperous. I am happy. I am abundant. I am purposeful in this endeavor. And it's the first thing you do is step out, being prayed up with all that truth behind you. That this is who and what I am, and I'm bringing this into the world now. And we can do it together. And I want to do it together with you guys. So first things first, we'll create the community here, and we'll transform all the lives around us. How about that? Amen. Be blessed. Be a blessing. I love you.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at www.unityoncapecod.org.